Happy Wealth Wednesday, Elena. I'm so excited to have you here today to talk about all things CryptoChicks and to dive into what you're doing with Metis as well. So thank you for joining. And from my home and native land of Canada and in Toronto, which is fantastic. So I would love to just kick it off if you could share a little bit about yourself and what you're up to these days.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, by the way, and thank you so much for highlighting all the women, all the wonderful women in Web3. It's a very, very important job that you're doing. So what is I am up to today in Toronto? I'm actually got a little bit sick, so I'm here staying home doing nothing, basically just recovering. Yeah, and giving an interview as well. So now I have a little bit of more time of that for that. In general, what we are right now getting ready for Denver event, and this is kind of a big highlight in the Web3 space, and my favorite event as well. So we are CryptoChicks both and Metis team also traveling there, and some of us are already there in Denver.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can't wait to catch you there because we will also be there. So we'll have to coordinate. And yeah, we'll dive more into like what Metis is all about and also the amazing initiatives you're taking with CryptoChicks and also your background as an engineer, you know, technical founder and creator in this space, which is super special. But to start, the first thing we always ask is this question is really equalizing. You know, I think women especially don't always talk about investing or their money, and investing can be so much more than money. It can be an investment in time, energy, money, and even yourself. So I'm curious what your first ever investment was, especially even in the crypto space. What got you started?
um, Actually, what's in terms of money investment, of course, I think first thing I invested into was Ethereum, and that is came from probably trusting the Ethereum creator personally because I knew him since he was born. So, and I really, really believed in what he's building. So, and that was my first investment, probably like the big investment. And well, of course, it's now we know that it's was good investment. Back then, of course, I never doubted. In terms of the time investment, I invest a lot of time into women, into helping women organizations, helping women personally as well. And that's where CryptoChicks came from. And that's what I also transferred into Metis as well. We have in Metis team, we have at least half of us are women. And right now we also have paid, maternity leaves, all that. So I really, really believe that women are very different than men. We have we have children. We have to take care of the families in a way that guys don't have to take care. Of course, guys have to take care financially, but for us, it's a little bit more on the emotional level, and we need a little bit more, time off when we're taking care of kids, and that is very, very important. So this is something that I am very passionate about, supporting women in that way as well.
I love that. And how and why did you get into the space of starting to build a layer two? So Metis is a layer two that's built on Ethereum, but I'd love if you could share that story. How did you decide to get into this space in particular?
Of course. So of course it started with CryptoChicks when we built the CryptoChicks nonprofit. We had to have a platform to go further, and that platform meant, and how we envisioned it, that would be the base for the Web3 economy, because we need to onboard builders on, we need to onboard users on businesses, and the idea of building the whole economy. It's not only, infrastructure for the economy, but the whole economy. This is something that consumed us. And that's how Metis started, especially when I met my two co-founders, Kevin Liu and Yuan Su. All the pieces came together. We started from the layer 2, but layer 2 is only a base and infrastructure for this Web3 economy, and how we imagined it to be. It has to be fast, it has to be very, very affordable. So not more than 1 cent per transaction, because more than that, it's not feasible in the real world. Has to be very, very secure, and also decentralized. So this is probably the most important point while we're building this Web3 economy and infrastructure. So that's how layer 2 came into play. Luckily, there was already a code base that we could borrow, and this is the Optimism team built a very excellent, clean code base that we could, an open source code base that we could start from, so we don't have to start it from scratch. Very grateful for this team helping us out in providing this code base. And since then, we in modernizing it, putting in new features, improving, and so now our layer 2 can support transactions that will cost only 1 cent, and that is the cheapest right now in the space. And we move in even further, shortening the withdrawal time, because for the optimistic rollout, for the optimism and other optimistic rollups, the withdrawal time right now is 7 days. So right now we are started working on the ZK proof that will allow us to shorten this transaction approval time to the very minimum, to just seconds.
Amazing. I'm so excited to learn more and watch as you build this. And for those listening who may not be as familiar, could you explain high level what ZK proof means and like why you're using it?
Yeah, ZK proof. This is zero knowledge proof. So for of course it can mean different things at the different levels, but for the level of the ZK proof, for example, for the layer 2. So what is the layer 2, especially in optimistic rollup? Layer 2 is is the layer that built on top of layer 1, which is like the program that built on top of layer 1, where you all the transactions get combined into the batches, and then you commit transactions into layer 1 in one batch, split the cost of all transactions between all let's say that you have 1,000 transactions in a batch, so therefore your transaction fee will be 1,000 times less. So that is the idea of my optimistic rollup. So what to preserve the security of the optimistic rollup, once you save this batch of transactions, you have to give 7 days for the community to go and verify your transactions. It's called fraud proofing. So fraud proof, it's somebody noticed something is wrong, so this the people can submit the fraud proof and actually get rewarded for it, and these transactions will be rolled back. So in this 7 days, and 7 days is defined by Ethereum security, by actually the premise that you cannot, even someone overtake Ethereum, they cannot hold it hostage more than 7 days, because it becomes exponentially expensive. And basically the premise is just no one in the world can have that much money to hold Ethereum more than 7 days. So that's why the 7 days came into play. So all optimistic rollups. So when you withdraw money from layer 2, you have to wait for 7 days right now, because these transactions have to be, proved that they are correct, passed after this 7 days period. What ZK proof does, and in optimistic rollup, you save all these transactions to layer 1. What ZK proof does is provide a zero knowledge technology. It means that this is this algorithmical proof that you have these transactions true, even without having them saved on layer 1 and verified. So it is just a kind of like system of the mathematical algorithms that were proven. And let's say that I can tell you, without even telling you how much money I have, I can provide the proof that I have enough money, or without telling you what in in this transaction, I can prove you that this transaction is true. So this is what ZK does, and therefore we don't need to wait for 7 days, and therefore once this ZK proof executed, the transaction can be withdrawn immediately because of this basically mathematical equation is solved.
Amazing. Thank you. That's a great summary. So appreciate that. And so this is a great actual segue into what my next question is what role you feel you're playing in the wealth space and why it's important. And one of those obviously is as an educator.
Yes, so as we build in at Metis, we build in the Web3 economy. Of course, the role of wealth in there is significant because it provides this, the base, it provides the capital for people to do the operations. So right now, it manifests in decentralized finance that exists in Metis. So decentralized finance and the total value lock, the TVL. So all the funds that people contributed into into the layer 2, and all the operations they do with the money in DeFi on the layer 2. So everything that is in there. So people are bringing their wealth, people are growing their wealth. There is, so there is this the layer of wealth that exists in there, and that can be used by other participants of the ecosystem, such as, for example, right now there are decentralized participants that come into play, like Koris. If you go to the website koris.io, so this supports creating of decentralized autonomous companies. It means that decentralized autonomous companies also can use and exchange the wealth in this layer 2. And we also have another player that came in Nuvo. So it's the Nuvo /tech.io. Oh, so it's Nuvo /tech.com. So this website, so this will provide different services, wallet service for the wealth management companies. For example, if you would like to offload the paying of transaction fee for the users, let's say for the adoption. People in the real world, they cannot, they not get accustomed that they have to pay for each transaction. So that's why, this technology allows like whoever is managing, their wallets, their health, their wealth, they can pay transaction fees for you, on a subscription basis. So you still approve the transactions, but you don't need to pay the gas fees, every time you commit the transaction. So that is, different players that come into space that use this wealth. But right now, as a DeFi layer, if you go to metis.io, you can see the ecosystem page, and you can see different DeFi players that are also in this layer 2 ecosystem that are, managing and providing this kind of like wealth layer directly, and then you can use it right away.
I love that so much. And then obviously CryptoChicks as well, right? If you could share a bit more about, what that means to you, because I know you've been focusing a lot on education of women and connecting them to hackathons and both opportunities of all types, actually.
Absolutely. Yes, and when I started, when I involved myself into this space, that was back in 2014 that I first just entered the space. So it was probably the lack of education that contributed to this, lack of diversity in the space. And we made this, the education is the first and foremost goal for the CryptoChicks, and that's the only thing we do. We just do education. Education for women, education for kids now. We now went into Canadian schools, and we're teaching, blockchain and other tech as well to Canadian educating kids. When we started CryptoChicks, of course, there was not even information on the web right now, but I see right now, so there's lots and tons of education on the, on the web, on YouTube, which is excellent. So you can go and learn that on your own. Before that, it was not so much. So it was very, very important. But still, right now, we still need to educate. We still need to educate, businesses, people into what is that exactly that we're doing. What is a Web3? Web2 people, they have no idea, of course, what is Web3 and why we call them Web2. There are lots of gaps in the knowledge. And like, for example, just a week ago, I did a presentation for the big enterprises on the blockchain, and there was lots of eye-opening, of course, and but this trust and needs to be built. So they say to me, yeah, we know that, for example, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they all big corporations, and they all hold us probably now, I cannot say hostage, but there's these centralized entities to hold a lot of power, and they recognize it might be a problem in the future. But they say that, but we know that we trust Microsoft, we trust big companies, but we need to learn more about blockchain to trust it. So that's why education is very, very important for the future adoption.
I love that. What has been the most exciting thing that you've learned in this journey since 2014 that you would want others to know?
That's actually my shift of decentralized to the decentralized thinking. We and when I grew up, we all been taught probably that somebody else will take care of us, like government. So first, of course, it's parents, then the government, then big corporations, and we're just learning to trust somebody without thinking, and then thinking before trusting. This is something that probably I learned as well, and that I am also responsible for everything that I do, and I cannot hold responsibility other people. No matter how I want to hold my government, somebody else responsible, and in the end, that's my responsibility. And that's what probably was the largest takeaway for me in entering the decentralized space, because in the decentralized space, you learn it very quickly that, if you lose your private key, then it's probably, it is nobody's fault. Then you didn't take all the precautions to hold it, and that makes you more adult, and so that was the largest shift in this decentralized thinking, and also just recognizing other people in the world as I cannot hold them responsible for my mistakes. And this was the largest shift that I had.
It's such an interesting insight, because we have become so used to customer support, and that no matter what, there's always insurance, or somebody will bail us out if we lose our password or we got locked out of something. There's always a way. And it is a mind shift to think about your own responsibility and accountability and what that means, both financially or otherwise. I am curious, more recently, as you've been working with ZK proofs, you're working on a layer 2, you've been in the industry for a long time. When you see this emergence of open AI, and even think about new trends like even quantum, how do you think about how that might apply and impact your business? Is there anything interesting and exciting that you're learning right now that you feel is interesting in that space, or do you not really see it as a priority at this time?
I see that AI become as a boost for blockchain space as well. One of the projects that actually right now emerged and started is for the people that are afraid to be displaced by AI. So these people can contribute their knowledge to the AI, to the open source AI, and then later on they will receive a salary based on their contributions. So in the future, so this is, something for those who are afraid that their profession will fade and AI will completely replace them. They hold this knowledge that AI learns from. And at this moment, people actually will recognize that all the data that collected from them, probably without them knowing it, and now fed to AI, it's kind of like a stealing the data from them, right? So this knowledge been gather it in some way and then now fed to AI, and AI will replace people. So that's just the sense of unfairness. So yeah, so first of all, like with this project, for example, we bring in fairness back and give a chance to people that hold this knowledge to educate AI knowingly and then benefit from it. Other perspectives, it could be also that um, everything that we do can be super powered by AI. Like for example, ZK technology, extremely hard to develop. It requires lots of human hours to actually develop it, but it all can be sped up by AI. So that is something that is also needs to take into consideration. And instead of us developing technology, maybe we just should join our forces together, all ecosystems in the Web3, and develop one technology that uses AI and do it faster. So this is another aspect that needs to be taken into consideration.
That's fascinating. What was the name of the project that is doing the kind of more fair AI
Oh,
contribution?
it's DEI, so that project just started. So the abbreviation is DEI. So it's a Decentralized Economy Initiative. That's right now the working name of this project. So yeah, so right now we are looking into different open source AIs, into different ways to research on how to get these AIs, trained and then capture the contributions from the people. So yeah, that project already initiated and started, and you're going to be hearing about it more.
Fascinating. I can't wait to research that more and look into it. Thank you for sharing. Is there another person or company that's really inspiring you in the space at large, and why?
Well, probably, Vitalik Buterin, who inspired me a lot and kind of changed my life. Probably, I got into this space because of him. So thank him for that. And of course, Satoshi Nakamoto, who is I don't even know if this is a real person or not. So there's lots of rumors, but it's completely fascinating, the story of, um, these two people, one of them was real and one of them maybe not so much. So yeah, so these two people that inspired me.
And what advice do you give to somebody getting started? Like for someone who might feel like, oh, 2014 was almost a decade ago. I'm so behind. I can't ever catch up. I'm not technical. What advice would you give?
Oh, just find what you would like to do. First of all, educate yourself, learn about the space. There's a lot of education on the video. You can always turn to, CryptoChicks. If you go to cryptochicks.ca, there's lots of education provided there. If it's by no means it is too late. It's still too early for our space. It's still very, very beginning, and there's lots to do. So we can use all the help that we can get.
Is there a place you would recommend people who are really just getting started if they're trying to contribute to a project or learn?
So first of all, you have to join probably Telegram, and then you have to watch for this for the projects. Of course, the projects that are building are the ones that like you look into. Also, coming to the conferences probably would be the great start. So right now, one in Denver has a very extensive education for the beginners. So you can join if you go to eatdenver.com, got all the information on how to register. It's very simple, how to join and come over. We CryptoChicks and C4, together with C4, we do the blockchain 101 education there, so you can see, and right away you can connect with all the greatest people in the space. Another event that going to be end of August in Toronto. If you go to etoronto.com, I believe, the website. So you can see the etoronto.com. You can see how to enter the hackathon. Even without experience, you can enter the hackathon. We also this year opening up It Women. So It Women is going to be part of It Toronto, and this is going to be a competition especially for the women, both business, technology. So you don't even need to have any previous knowledge to enter the hackathon. So I think it would be great. This is how I started in the space. I entered the hackathon, and that's I got right away tremendous amount of connections there, like right on the spot, right there on the spot, and it was amazing. So yes, if you go to eatdenver.com, eattoronto.com, you can find everything you're looking for.
Fantastic. I will definitely link that in the transcript for anyone who's interested. Anything else we should know? How can we stay in touch with you and your personal journey as a builder in this space, and then also Metis as you guys grow and scale?
Of course, all the news and knowledge you can get from our Telegram channel, MetisDAO, METISDAO. So MetisDAO. So this is a Telegram channel. Also, you can go to metis.io, metis.io, and there is a contact us, and there is all our social media in there. Keeping in touch in the Twitter, same as MetisDAO, METSDAO Twitter. Constantly there. You can find me there as well. You can follow me. You can tag me, and I will respond. Yes, so we are very, very active on all this social media. So if you want to keep in touch and keep posted of what is going on, it's going to be the best way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining today, sharing your experience. I can't wait to follow along as you build. So thanks so much, and we'll see each other at ETH Denver.
Thank you, and see you very, very soon. Thank you, Elena.
See you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.